Hello record collectors. Today I'd like to show you a few more albums from my record collection, and today's artist will be Hawkwind. And these will be the early albums from Hawkwind back in the United Artists days. The first album to come out in 1970 was just titled Hawkwind. And on this particular one, there's Paranoia, Hurry Sundown. Those are probably two of the prominent songs on that particular album. I also have picked up, was in the store, saw it cheap, the a reissue, Four Men with Beards. This one is a gatefold. They did quite a good job. The back and front are the same as the original. I don't know if there's any posters or anything inside. I don't think so. The next one, In Search of Space, 1971, again, United Artists. This is a die cut. I'll first remove the record. You can see United Artists. I think some of these albums I featured on my video on die cut album covers. But this is the interior here. You can see it. So a pretty unique cover there. And this particular album came with a book, Space Log. And it's actually quite a bit of material in there. Just wait for it to go through it. I think it's supposed to represent like a journey through space. Whoever put it together did quite a bit of work on it. Stonehenge, obviously. Got some pictures of the members of the group there. Quite a booklet to be included in a record. I'm not sure. I think this one probably goes like this. The next album, Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do, that was 1974. This is quite a good album. This is one of my favorites. I think this is the one that has Time We Left This World Tonight on it. Yeah, Time We Left This World Today. It's one of my all-time favorite Hawkwind tunes. All of these albums are great, but it's definitely one of my favorite Hawkwinds. The next one is the live one from 1973, Space Ritual. Once again, I'll just pull out the things. These are again United Artists. It's a double LP set. It's another one of these ones that I'm gonna have to back up probably a bit. I don't know how much of this will get into the camera, but well, that's it. They're showing Hawkwind albums. Boy, I've got to sit back from the camera to fit that stuff in. Next one, Hall of the Mountain Grill, 1974. Again, United Artists. Next one is probably my favorite overall album of all time from Hawkwind. Again, once again, I'm going to pull the record out. Another of these die cuts. I think I've shown this one on my album's cover, but here's the insert. And this is the classical lineup, the lineup that I probably most like, with David Brock, Nik Turner, Lemmy on bass, Simon House, Simon King, and Alan Powell. I'm thinking this is probably the last album that Lemmy appears on. I'm not sure. Again, this is a die cut. So that was that one. The next album is a compilation, Roadhawks. This came out in 1970, I'm not sure, 1976 maybe? Can't be sure. This is on United Artists as well. It's compilation. I think this might have been pressing in the UK. Can't be sure. No, it's a Canadian pressing. Next one, Astounding Sounds, Amazing Music. This is where I think they had a change in label here to the Charisma. They're no longer United Artists. And it's starting on this album that I'm starting to not like their sound quite as much as I had in previous albums. And so I thought, well, it's not bad. So when the next one came out, Quark Strangeness and Charm, which is 1977, again, this will be the Charisma label. I really didn't like this one as much. As a big change in sound from their earlier days. And on the inside, on the jacket, is sort of like a handwritten note. And at one point here, it's written, "A few changes. The sacking of Nik Turner, Paul Rudolph, and Alan Powell." And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's the guts of the band, so I'm wondering I'm not liking the sound so much. Especially Nik Turner. I think he was a major influence on the sound. So after this one, I said to myself, well, I don't think I'm going to be buying any more Hawkwinds for a while because the sound had deviated too much from the early days. I did eventually at one point buy one. Now this is that last one, Quirk, Strangeness and Charm, was 1977. My next one is from 2010. I saw this real cheap somewhere, so I thought I'd pick it up. And it does sort of go back to the traditional space hymns type stuff. A couple of tracks on here sound almost like New Age music, but then there are tracks that sound more like the old Hawkwind. And this particular one, as you can see, clear vinyl. Overall, not a bad album. I think if I do come across, like, Hawkwind did put out quite a few albums between like Quirk, Strangeness and Charm, which is 1977 and 2010. If I ever see any cheap, I might pick them up just to see what they sound like. One of the members of the early part of the band was Nik Turner, was there, and he's putting out a few albums of his own here. He put this one out here called Space Gypsy. A few years back. I'll just have a quick look. Open this one up. This one sounds quite a bit like the early Hawkwind stuff, especially the Warrior on the Edge of Time. It sounds quite a bit like that. I think, let me see here. That's this is the original jacket. Let me just hold that up there. If I remember correctly, he does have a few former Hawkwind members also participating on this album, and I can't be sure if it's this album or another one that had a bonus. Yeah, came with a bonus 45. I'm not sure if one side was embossed or not. Can't really tell. But this Nik Turner is quite a good album. I can really recommend this if you're an early Hawkwind fan. If you're a fan of like the Warriors on the Edge of Time, then that's worth picking up. Then Nik Turner put out another one, this one here, and Space Fusion Odyssey. And this one, I would say, is almost like electronic jazz. Like he's got like Billy Cobbin on there. He's a jazz drummer. And to be perfectly honest with you, here's the record. I think the record sucks. I don't like it at all. I was really disappointed. Okay, oh God. And he's got the fantastic jacket there. I can't get all this in, but you get an idea. Yeah, but this one for me was very disappointing. I was hoping more for the Hawkwind sound, and you definitely don't get it on this one. As well, I think Hawkwind has put out a number of DVDs. I have one, Out of the Shadows. I think this was around 2002. There are a few older tracks on this one, and some of the newer material that you were doing at the time. To be honest, I haven't played it in a while, which would tell me that kind of didn't impress me too much. Pretty plain. There was no booklet or nothing inside, no information, which kind of sucks as well. but I guess if you're a Hawkwind fan, it's probably worth picking up. Since we're talking about Hawkwind, one group I just want to give a mention to, because they're sort of along the same vein, is this group called Ramesis, which is on the Vertigo label. Again, very similar as the early Hawkwind with that sort of like space hymns, space music stuff. I showed this one as well on my albums video, because when you first look at it, it looks like a rocket ship. I don't know how much of this we're going to get in. When you open it up, it's steeple of the church. I think the original pressing was on the Vertical Swirl label, and then it came out after on the Spaceship label. Here's the second one, is Glass Top Coffin. Okay, this one not quite as bad. And on the Vertical label, Vertigo. On that first one, I just want to mention Colleen Kremer is on that album as well, who went on to do 10cc and a few others. Both these albums by Ramesis are very good, especially that first one, very psychedelic and very space hymns-like. So they're definitely worth picking up if you see them anywhere. So anyway, as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.